Hello Marvel Heroes fans, my name is Wilfred Wong and welcome to my channel whereby you can see quite a fair bit of video on the Marvel Heroes this game. And I've been creating guide for quite some time. I've created Black Widow guide for quite some time as well. And Black Widow has undergone quite a number of changes. One of them is that her spirit is no longer not an issue. So now you have to manage a spirit. It's just the way that they sort of like fix a 2 years old bug. And I think a lot of us are very not used to the kind of like gameplay that we are so used to playing Black Widow in a certain way for more than 2 years, and suddenly our spirit is having issue, or could have been issue. So I'm going to do a update video, and I'm going to do two builds as well, both the melee and range, and just to give you a kind of like because I've been usually I play my heroes as melee, but I realized that not all the case actually it's not all the case I do that, because it really depends on the hero that I sort of like can relate to as range or melee and so on. So it's not always that with the option of range and melee I would definitely do melee or range, it really depends on hero. But because a lot of you has been requesting for me to create a guide on the melee Black Widow, so I'm going to do that as well. And I'm going to toggle between the two just to give you a flavor as in like how she runs like in a cosmic terminal. Now, for those of you who has been playing this game for quite some time, Black Widow, you probably realize that her spirit now is dropping like any other hero. So one of her very unique feature of being able to regenerate spirit that has been fixed, or I would say it's a 2 years old bug, so I think it's kind of unfair to build a hero this way, but it is what it is. So I'm going in signature, which is her sort of like just everything you can't really see, the boss can't really see her. And it's alright. I mean, she has quite a lot of stealth utility. Just the fact that she's a little bit, on the spirit side, need to be take care of it a little bit. And the grace, or I think the French pronounce it as grace. I think so. That one is still very much like the design that has been around for a while. So I think in my older video, back then there was a Widowmaker second resource, and now there isn't. They have incorporated the cooldown into coup grass, and I think in a way it's good, because I don't think the Widowmaker really bring a lot of like utility or fun to the whole build anyway. So, and get out of me. Alright, so, and also just onto the build itself, I know some of you have been asking me for some very interesting build, like for example the sniper build as well as the time explosion build. So in the end, I'll talk a little bit about the build later, but in the end I sort of like have decided to probably go for the build that I'm comfortable in executing, because this is very easy to execute. Okay, it's 3, 4, 5, and grass is on. I'll show you the buff in just a bit. Alright, so I mean she's still very much like the old Black Widow, except the spirit part, so but that's about it. Okay, so I think at this stage, pardon me a bit of lag, always happen a little bit on this game. I'm going to switch to melee build just for you. Maybe I'll just take out some of these guys first. Maybe in the next logical way, I'm going to do it the melee build. So when it comes to melee, can't even activate right now. I think, yeah, because of the I'm still in combat. Alright, so that is the signature. Just spam signature as and when you need. Anyway, there's a rather fast cooldown. So I'm doing bounty right now. So just sort of like alright. So I would like to switch my build just for you guys to have an appreciation on how she plays like in a different mode. So And yeah, so maybe before I do that, just talk a little bit about the Black Widow layering. So when it comes to Black Widow, basically you have to pick a spender. After that, you layer with all the DPS on top. So the one that I pick is the anti-personnel grenade for stun, the rolling grenade for the burn, because mine is a burn build. Then Widow's keys as well. So these two are energy, the rest are physical. And then after that, the drones. So everything is 8-second cooldown. I use the drones to sort of like monitor when I do the cooldown. And then whenever the coup grass is available, I use it, and so signature. So this is very simple. And I'll try to activate the melee build now. So I'm playing melee build, which is exactly like the range build, except instead of coup grass, I have the deadly kick. Instead of the barrage, I have the deadly blade. So it goes in something like that. And but just that without the range, it's sort of like it takes a bit longer for me to sort of like do anything. And but it does have some really nice bursts as well. Because range, I can sort of like do a few at the same time. So and it's the kick. She has still very nice burst damage, by the way. And now it's by the way, I really should yeah, but the melee build sort of like, okay, let me just get rid of these guys first, because I really should change my gear as well for the melee. For melee, I need to change these two, 1 and 2. So, and just switch some gear, and my melee should be just as powerful as my range. Just that because melee, I've got to get close, and it's sort of like in range, I can actually shoot through all the stuff. So. So it's a little bit of trade-off here and there. So you see this buff here, deadly blade buff. All right. So let me see where I'm supposed to go. I think I've gone the wrong way. My apologies. And heading back the right way. She has a bike as well, but I found that the bike is a little bit hard to control. So that's why I'm not using the bike. And it's like a Ghost Rider bike, by the way. So for the melee build, I have to constantly use the med kit, but for range build, I don't really need to that much. I still need to sort of like use it, but I think the range one, because it hit more targets without having to, it hits more targets. So I think that sort of like help the regen a little bit. I have to constantly do it, like it's rather unfortunate, because that is not the Black Widow I get to know. She doesn't really need to manage a lot of like cooldown, but I mean, the game always changed the way that you least expect it of. And for better or worse, I mean, it is what it is. So I think, like I mentioned in my mega review, some of you may have a chance to watch it. She's an acquired taste, but I mean, she's very I would say she's she is actually effective in dispatching stuff, right? I mean, you see all these things going on. It's just that now you have a spirit issue like the rest of other heroes, and it's not really the rest of like the hero that you know of. But I mean, that's about it. So I hope that gives you an appreciation on where she is, and you look at her spirit now is really dropping like crazy. I'm trying to see whether my bounty is okay, so that's cool. I don't need to smash any or more Doom Castle nonsense. And okay, let's go back to my. Okay, so I'm still on to her. Okay, melee build. So quite a lot of you have been asking me. So and I mean, I think as you can see, melee build probably kill a little bit slower because of the poor in so-called the area. But I reckon melee build actually is better in terms of the if you are doing boss rush. So the melee build is actually better, alright? So because it hits harder than the range build, but it's just that for range, it's sort of like in this type of scenario, it's a lot easier. Yeah, I mean, it's still effective. I wouldn't have too much complaint about it. Just that now I have to constantly eat med kit. It's about it. That's the new game for Black Widow. So yeah, it is really about the rotation and the knowing. Now, so okay, so the one that I'm having is actually a burn build. Now, what does that mean is that I'm actually geared for burn stats. So what is burn? The grenade, rolling grenade actually has a burn effect. The anti-personal is a stun, so it's very nice, stun and burn. And after that, the Widow Kiss is basically another AoE layer because those are damage over time. All right. So drone is also another cooldown layer. So just kill it as when you have to. is off cooldown. So I'm still working my way through, and my spirit is actually hurting quite a fair bit for this melee build, you know. Yeah, it's just the way it is. So let's see, and the okay. Right, just have to keep hitting, and that is it, right? So there's nothing much really memorable when it comes to this kind of enhanced bosses, because these are just, you know, mini bosses. They don't really hit that hard. All right, so, and I mean, I'm using a DPS gear right now. I have a health gear as well for Cosmic Patrol, so some of you may see it later if you stay on this video. So I'm still working my way through, and just getting my bounty, and I hope by now you have an idea of how she plays, like, you know, both range and melee as well. So I'm going to go in, maybe I'll take one more, just in case I short of one. I think I should be alright. So I'm going to in as a melee Black Widow. I'm going to use the ultimate on phase 2 as well. So, and here we go. And it's going in. Okay, the bubble is up, so there's really no point in attacking anything. It's rather uninspiring actually. So it's just single spender until the off cooldown. And the make sure you use back hit because now it's no longer as I'm saving my signature for the later stage, so, you know, okay, so this is the bubble, you can't really see any damage out there. Alright, so that is it, and the CC breaker, get yourself out, get loot, and I'm going to use the ultimate here, and I'll try not to get out of range, so that, you know, because Dr. Doom actually quite annoying when it comes to, okay, this ultimate. Right, so that is it. I mean, she is still very effective. I mean, you know, look at the way that she, okay, so get out from it, get a meat. I mean, you know, if you look at phase 2, it's actually quite effective. And I mean, okay, this one, the bubble up, there's no point in hitting anything. Okay, now it's time, okay, and the deadly kick. And just keep hitting the same thing, and just get out from all these things. Alright, just reapply the damage over time layer, deadly kick. And profit. Yes. What? I think the bubble is up, so it's really annoying when the bubble is up. You can't really do anything. You can't sort of like there's no debuff to take away the bubble like in other MMO game whereby I can just counter that. That would be quite fun, by the way. But I mean, no, this is just a very quick sort of like a walkthrough on Black Widow, introduction of her, as well as the, you know, a little bit of like gameplays for Black Widow in the Cosmic, Doom full bounty. So this is Cosmic Patrol with Black Widow in melee build. So I'm going to just try out 2 builds here, one for melee, one for range, and this is the one on the melee. And yeah, I mean, you know, melee power seems to be a bit more powerful, I guess. But you know, each of them has their own good and bad, I guess. And the okay, so far seems alright. So that's one boss. Alright, now it's Odin event, so it's quite a lot of loot coming around. Alright, so that is one. And on to the next Spider-Man, and I don't know, okay, shall we do this one? Okay, I mean, it's actually quite new to me, this whole concept about the melee Black Widow, because I always play my Black Widow as ranged, so, you know, but the good thing about it is that range and melee is actually very, very similar. The difference is not really a lot. By the way, I can't really see what is off the cooldown because all this thing on the screen, I think it's quite bad design. I tried to feedback to Gazillion a couple of times, but guess it never get done. I mean, I suppose whatever compass is good, but it shouldn't really obscure the way that I play my game. I can't even see which power should I, you know, off cooldown and so on. So I'm still onto this melee build, alright, so on Black Widow. Alright, just apply all the damage over time, and I need to see when the thing off cooldown and reapply my drones. I just have to go by feeling, I guess. Okay, oh, that is Mr. High, is it? No wonder it seems a bit harder than it normally is. So let's just do it. Okay, let me just loot something first. Multitasking, not really. Okay. Finish looting. Okay, back to Mr. High again. Okay, deadly kick is the one that instead of coup de grace, for the range build, you just use a deadly kick instead. So instead of the barrage, you use the deadly blade. So yeah, I mean, the great thing about between the melee build and the range build is just you know, how easy it is to toggle between the two. Alright, deadly kick, and after that I buff all my power by 10%. Right, use a drone as the counter. That is, if you can see the drone's counter. Right, deadly kick is out. I got stunned, and after that reapply all the damage over time. Alright, so this is just a layer on that. And after this, I'm going to, okay, deadly kick is out again. Alright, so I mean, the spirit situation is not as bad as I thought, because I'm still able to maintain without yeah. So okay, so that's done. So let me see if I can switch to the, okay, so now it's a range build. So I'm going to do, where is the Spider-Man? Alright, so I think it's what, here, is it? Alright, so that's Spider-Man, and okay. Okay, signature. Okay, coup de grace, coup de grace, you know, making sure that that is on. And the reapply the cooldown. Right, just it's equally relaxing when you play the range build. Alright, so I'm not using the med kit right now. I see how far I can go without reapplying the med kit, and I think Coup de Grace is off the cooldown. It's just right. So it's been quite a lengthy fight, and then signature 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, Coup de Grace. So I can maintain one boss without using the med kit, but clearly it's only 1/4 left. So there is a difference out there. Okay, so that is really about the Black Widow in both the melee and range build in Cosmic Patrol. Welcome back to the training room. So this part of the video is on the build and so on. So I hope you have sort of like an idea how she plays. Like, I mean, you know, she is effective in dispatching enemies, and you know, you could have two builds: the range for more the, you know, clearing of area. If you want to have a single target kind of like you know, damage, you probably want to go for melee build as well. So you know, if you have two, you can toggle around. That's fine. She's pretty fun to play, and she does have a lot of like a burst damage as well. So if you need her to sort of take down some enemy fast, you know, she's the one for you. So I mean, she's an acquired taste, I would say. I really like her. Just that my complaint right now is more the yeah, I've got a lot of complaint. I'll talk a little bit about it later, but the spirit is management is really something that you know, it shouldn't be that way, I think, because it becomes like a signature of what Black Widow is for those who has played this hero for 2.5 years. You know, suddenly get fixed. So yeah, it's strange. So anyway, on to the, okay, so I'm going to talk about two builds here. The first of all, melee build. After that, I'll talk about the range build. I'm going to share with you why I picked certain things. For those who are interested in certain, like you know, a number and so on, stay on to the last part of the video. I'll talk a little bit about the you know, the numbers, why I choose certain things. All right, so when it comes to this whole entire build, you know, Black Widow is very simple to play. So there's only two powers that you need to you know, watch out. One for melee, one for range. So let's talk about melee first. For melee, deadly click is very important because it kind of like buff all power for 10 seconds. So it's something that you would want to apply early or late, you know, doesn't matter. But you know, just keep the kind of like a buff on in a sort of like you know, it has a 10-second, but then, you know, as you know, for Black Widow, everything is under 8-second cooldown. So it is very much like you work your layers, you know, and after that you have 8 seconds of not doing anything but the spender, and then 8 seconds again. So in the past, it was a bit more engaging because I think the cooldown was shorter, so you got a lot of things going on. But now I think a lot of people don't really like the kind of like short cooldown. They want long cooldown, but long cooldown also means that there's a lot of time you just like click the single button, just wait to see what happened, and you know, yeah. So, but always do deadly kick to buff all your power to 10%. So that is very nice, and also it has a very nice burst as well because it's always crit and have a buffed crit damage and brutal damage rating. All right. So sorry, the percentage. Okay, so that is the deadly kick, and after that, for the main spender, you have two choices: either the electric batons or the deadly blade. If you work out the numbers, both are very similar. So it is a matter of style, I would say. I mean, the good thing about electric baton is that you know, on its own, it's already covered both physical and energy damage. So in the event whereby you don't want to use any of these things, you could, but I can't think about why you wouldn't want to do that, because you know, it does have a very nice layer as well, although this part of the power is very underwhelming. I'll talk a little bit about it later. I like the deadly blade because first of all, it has bleed. I can use my hero synergy to boost my bleed you know, by a couple of percentage. And also moreover, when these days you need to move around quite a fair bit, so having a damage overtime on while you're moving, so you still have the damage going on in the background, I think is more beneficial than the electric batons, because you know, yeah, I mean, it's good to leave a damage overtime on and let it run on its own. So I would still prefer this one, but of course, once you pick this one, you have to pick a different gear choice as well. Red Room Reflexes is very fantastic. It's just unfortunate that I'm unable to max it to 50 by the gear for you to see. I think somehow the whole unique gear needs some kind of rethinking, because you know, Black Widow has a lot of gear to collect, but it doesn't quite. It's very hard to get it right, you know, all the numbers, and it's very hard to see a number getting max rank as well. So I really hope that Gazillion can take a look at the, you know, at least give Red Room Reflexes a chance to, you know, for any build, you know, for any gear that you equip, you know, this one should be able to get to 50 if your gears are kind of like maxed out. So you know, out of the various combination of unique gear that Black Widow has, the Red Room Reflexes should be, you know, the max rank, because that is the core of the Black Widow, if you watch the movie or the comic as well. Okay, so then after that, you know, this is on the melee side, and of course you need to max out your signature. Some people don't like the signature. I actually find it quite good, because you know, when during the signature, you will not get targeted at all. You basically get stealthed, and you know, in a cosmic gate environment or in any environment whereby you need to drop the aggro, it's actually quite effective. I really like it. Don't know why people don't like it. Another one is the silent killer as well. It does the stealth as well as the attack move speed. So if you remember, you can just like move around a little bit as you play the game, so that you know, you always get the attack speed boost. And the good thing about this one is that it goes on stealth. So whenever, you know, Doom or against Dr. Doom or whatnot, you know, whenever you need to drop the aggro, you can just go stealth, and it's very, very good. All right, so remaining a point, I put it there. Onto this side, right? This side is actually quite important as layer, but all of these are very, very tiny. I mean, if you compare this number with the latest heroes design like Cable or you know, any others one, this one doesn't match up by, I think it falls off by at least 20%. I mean, you know, this whole thing here just kind of like you know, pretty disappointing. But you know, it is what it is. I always say that, but it is what it is. And you know, I picked this one, anti-personnel kunai, because it is stun. And after that, I take this one because it applies burn. Very important. I'm gear for burn. And after that, this one is just an additional layer to it. Now, the great thing about playing melee is that this one will not miss, because this has actually a front cone damage. And I mean, okay, now I zoom out. Front cone damage. Sometimes when you do range, you actually out of this range as well. So but for melee, it will never miss. So I also quite like this one with the melee as well. And then drone is also another pretty pathetic. I mean, you know, Black Widow previously, the drone was so good. I mean, I wish that the Gazillion is a little bit careless or reckless with the Black Widow to make her power a little bit more awesome, along with the current hero, because this is a cooldown power. Cooldown power is actually number is quite low. I'll show you later. All right, so no need to put anything onto the Keller reinforced bodysuit, because your unique will give you about 30 ranks. That's sufficient. All right, so that is on the melee build. Now maybe I touch down onto the time explosive and the remote detonation as well, because I think this one is quite relevant for melee. You could use it, mix it into your melee build, because it is quite interesting. You put a explosion, and after that 6 seconds later it will explode, or you can explode it using this way. Now, the very reason why I don't do that, although you could use it to replace things like the you need this one for the vulnerability anyway. So you could use it to replace like Widow's Kiss if you want to replace the layer, or if you can do some intense button mashing, you can do to mash all this button, because you could potentially remove the points from anti-personnel Gungnir, because this is a very, very low DPS anyway, and then dump it into, say, the explosive, and voila, you have another layer. But then that would require you to do another 2 hotkey dancing. So it depends. If you can do it, you can do it. Yeah. So that is another option for you to remove the one point here and put it into time explosive, and then use this one, at least 1 point here, to buff the detonated mines. But you need hotbar dancing quite a fair bit. The only thing I don't like is a 6-second kind of like timer. So you probably end up having to delay the explosion, and if the mobs are moving around or you want the instant result, you need to explode. So you have to press hotbars and hotbar dance and then do 2 keys. So up to you. All right. So that is on the melee. Now onto my range build. I still prefer to play range build, especially on the Cosmic Petrol, but I kind of get to like the melee as well. Now melee and range, I'm not going to repeat what I've said for the melee side. So this part of the story just refer to the melee build, kind of like a segment of the video. So this one I will not talk about. Now for the range build, so unlike the melee build using deadly kick, I use Kupras, and this one has an execute function, so it hit harder and harder. So you always use this one to buff 10% of all your power, and after that you use the execute just carry on its own. So use this one instead of this one for the melee, for the ranged. And then so for the ranged, I don't think, so there are again 2 options here. Actually, I quite like Black Widow design because it's quite a lot of options, and my job here is to share with you some options that you may be interested in playing. Now for the better, I won't say best, because I think the range build is really, really weak. I think it's weaker than the melee build for sure, but then because range hit more targets, so in environment like the Cosmic Patrol, it helps a lot. So I picked Bullet Barrage. It kind of like in the past it was thinking barrage or whatever it is. In the past it was really fun because it's sort of like it hit through all the mobs and with no reduction of damage and whatnot. So they kind of nerving all this fun kind of like mechanic and sort of like build something like this, but that's fine. I mean, so bullet barrage is basically hit the first enemy, but then the next one will beyond it, which will be like a lesser damage dealt. Alright, so affected by attack speed as well. So I use it as a spin cylinder. You could, however, use a covert sniper. Now, I have tried out the sniper, so I know some of you ask me, can I do a sniper video? The reality is that sniper is very fun. I would say it's a super fun build, but it just doesn't deliver the kind of like damage I'm looking for. And also now that Black Widow has a spirit issue, I really want every second hitting something rather than using 1.5 seconds to charge up a sniper to hit it. So it's just unfortunate because the way that they nerf the whole, they fix the whole spirit management mechanic, then I don't think this one is very like very, I wouldn't use this one, but it is quite a fun alternative build because you can stealth, and then sniper will give you another stealth duration. There's a stealth duration for the 1.5 second charging, so you can stealth, and you can reset it as well. So you can keep using the silent killer to keep resetting this the sniper. So I've tried it and I've modeled the numbers. It doesn't look that great, but it is something that if you enjoy the sniper build, because I play other MMO as well, like Mass Effect 3 and others. I always enjoy a sniper going from a distance and just headshot and stuff like that. But I mean, this one, if Gazillion want to do a good job on this build variety, I think this one need to buff a big time, like huge. Okay, so that is all from the range build. So I hope that sort of answers some of the question on the build itself. Onto the Omega system, because Black Widow is both melee and range. I mean, depending on which one you want to play. Also, she is both the physical and energy. So picking the right stuff from this Omega system is a little bit challenging for Black Widow, because just the way it is. And but if you look at her toolkit, what she does, because she has the thing that she has changed quite a fair bit, because her main spender for range is no longer energy, now is physical, and then melee is also physical, so it's quite nice. In fact, if you look at the entire tool set, her energy is only the Gungnir and as well as Widow's Kiss. So I would say that it is quite if you have to gear between the energy and physical, you could actually gear for put some points on the physical side, because the majority, as you can see, majority of the damage actually come from physical. The energy is just these two layers, and they are not really they're pretty strong, but if you have to make a choice. All right, so 10 points on spin tag, and after that 3 and 6 for a bit of health regen. Like I said, I dumped these remaining points into strength and physical and so on, because I just would like to buff the physical a little bit, because main spender is physical anyway. 13 on Shadow Cane for the crit, and after that a bit of melt phase for the brutal damage rating, because I think she can crit quite a fair bit, and then a bit more on the brutal as well, because for hybrid this is one of those things that you probably would consider if you run out of stuff to allocate your points. After that 5 on tactical neural implant, mainly for my melee build. I think for Ray, I'll actually go for this one, because a melee build, because she does more damage, and Guild Suppression for the for more brutal, and because she's both energy and physical, so I would prefer to have this kind of thing going into this guy. But I think if you must choose between the two, choose to buff the physical rather than buff the energy, because majority of your damage probably come from the physical. Remaining point dumper, after that 6 points on Frenzy, just in case I play melee, and after that 10 points on Warpath. Usually I put 9, but then because she's such a hybrid, and after that 4 points on Cybertooth. That was the brutal and the health regen. As for the hero synergy wise, you could do something like put an Ant-Man there as well. But I put something like crit chance there, and after that I picked the physical crit chance as well. It's important. Mr. Fantastic is mainly for the because I do a lot of crafting. So, but I could actually do it this way. I think that is equally fine. And after that I could use my energy crit as well. Squirrel girl. I know a lot of you are like, I know my accent is kind of strange. Sorry. Okay, so this is like 4% damage versus 4, so that is very nice. And after that, Thor is both energy and physical, so pick that. And Winter Soldier is both range and melee, pick that. War Machine is +1 fighting, pick that. And after that you have the Wolverine for the brutal, as well as the X-23 because it's against bleeding, so that is also very useful. Alright, so I think the last bit is going to be on, oh no, before that let's go through the rotation. Okay, on to the rotation. Let's start with the range build. So it is very simple, like I mentioned before. So basically everything here is 8 second kind of like a duration. So use the drone as the as a guideline as a when to apply, and after that make sure that Coup Grace is on all the time. Whenever it's off cooldown, use it, and after that signature. So forget about signature first. So usually the one that I usually do is if you really want to max all your stuff, of course you need to move a little bit, so to give you a little bit of like attack speed buff, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and then hop Coup Grace, and after that just keep hitting here, and after that you could also like move a little bit and reapply now, and then after that everything is just very nice. All right, it's just 8 second cooldown kind of thing. And after that, when it comes to 1, 2, 3, 4, so making sure that you do a little bit of moving as well to get your attack speed up. That's about it. And then as and when you need it, just use the signature. All right. So that is the ranged rotation, and on to the melee. Let me just switch to melee if I can. So yeah, if you look at the numbers here, it's not that high. There's nothing really a lot on the 50s. If you look at this number here. Yeah, so that's why it's still a little bit not that ideal. But on the main, it's exactly like what you've seen on the range. So just keep moving a little bit, and after that 1, 2, 3, 4, deadly kick, and after that just keep hitting. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then kick. and then that's it, right? So just keep hitting, and after that 3, 2, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, then kick, right? So that's all you need to do. Keep this up, and remember to eat med kit more often when you're doing melee, because you probably need all the spirit return. All right. So onto the gear. Let's start with the artifacts. So now, first of all, you must remember that for Black Widow, she is a hybrid. So in whichever you can, you pick something that's pretty generic. Because my build is on the burn. So when you do a rolling grenade, you see this target is being burned here. See all the fire here. So when you burn, there are a couple of things that happen. Once you burn, you can actually have all these artifacts that have been putting in your stash. Don't know which hero to give it to. They give you the very nice burn status, damage versus, and also together with this one as well. So it could be something that you've been keeping for a while, eating up stash space. Don't know what to do with it. So it is something that you could consider doing. And by the way, just give you a rough idea what 800 plus damage rating means. Divided by 40 is 20% against burn target. Now, you could use the Blast Doom Ectoplasm as well, provided that if you don't have this one, because I think it's one of those event kind of like artifact, you could use this Doom Ectoplasm, because 20% base damage is again 800 damage rating, but this one is only against boss. The other one is against everything that's moving. So and the physical proc is just dodge. Right now at this very stage, dodge is rubbish. So I wouldn't really replace this one with that one. But again, if you do not have this one and you still want to do something great about Black Widow, and I think this one is not bad as well, but this is only 2 bosses. All right, so just bear that in mind. And the because she's a hybrid, so anything like Germ of the Curse and the Hand of Doom and those very generic kind of like damage type, you can use it for her. She's lacking in a lot on the rank, so anything with +1 rank is good. So Metasensory is good for her as well. Get a pretty high attack speed as well, because if you're doing range mode, you probably need the kind of attack speed. As for the relax wise, it is a legacy decision, because Black Widow has gone through quite a lot of changes. Back then she was a little bit weaker, a little bit more fragile, so I use Lemuria for her. But I think if you really want to push for DPS, you could go for the crit damage rating. I think that's much better for her. As for the rune words, I use the power dupe, because this is actually quite a nice roll. 1777, 577, and 4777 are the max roll. So I would get the physical and the energy proc that give me quite a fair bit of like crit damage rating as well as brutal damage rating. And her crit and brutal is actually quite fine as well. So that is something that will benefit from this power dupe. And by the way, with power dupe, I actually recover spirit, and I'm already kind of like I'm not struggling, but I can feel the heat of the spirit management issue. So imagine if you don't have this one, I think you probably run into some kind of spirit management issue with Black Widow, which is a shame, of course. Then for legendary, I use a power cosmic. It's almost like a free legendary for me, because she does both power type and it's a royal stone kind of currency. You could, however, use a bow for ranged, but bow is never the top tier grace 80 legendary anyway. Or you could use the axe, because majority of her tool set really use the physical, but you lose on the 2 layers, which is a Widow's Kiss as well as a micro drone. So you are not realizing the full potential of the axe, and it may end up just be like a bow. But then if you want to do melee, then that is the way to go. So what are you gaining? With 1000 OD marks, you are probably gaining about maybe 4 to 4% kind of like improvement gain, because power cosmic is not that bad, but it's just about 6% down from the usually it's about 6 to 8% depending on what the hero is, but about 6% down from the best grade 80, which is like the axe. But then again, you are not fully utilizing the axe anyway, so you are looking at gain of about 4 to 5%. So I don't know what 4 to 5% mean to you. If it means a lot, then do it. 1000 OD mark, but it doesn't really mean that much to me, so I don't. If you think about the whole, if you use it for just normal day-to-day kind of gameplay wise, yeah, 5% is not really a lot, and yeah. So for ring wise, you can do much better than me. You can do some ICP ring or ICP if you use a physical one. or the limbo ring, because you can actually potentially get quite a lot of nice affixes from the limbo ring because it's a true hybrid. But you need a little bit of patience farming all these like coffer, so like open it up and see what you have inside. All right, so it eats up a lot of space, so that's why I'm still having it here. Onto the costume, I use the crit damage rating. This one is my DPS gear. I also have a very nice white costume, classic white, which is on health as well. For cosmic patrol, I use this one. Right, for other scenario, I use this one. And after that, for the insignia, do something that is crit damage rating, use something that is crit, use something that is brutal. So those are the one that you should go for. Those are fixes. And if your health is not good enough, then you can add a bit of health through the insignia as well. Imagine if you don't use a power cosmic, your health is actually sitting at about 21k, which is pretty low, I think. Anyway, then after that you have the pet as well. Now onto the topic of the unique, which I think I probably need some time to go through them with you. So I would say this one is for range definitely, because it gives you the barrage as well as the group grass, as well as signature, and I think all in all this is quite a nice one. And after that you have this one. I use this one for the ranged build as well, because it gives me the agility and weaponry. Why agility and weaponry? Actually is more for the wait, hang on, where's my range build? So let me just go to my range build. Alright, so weaponry is important. Agility is just to buff the red room reflexes, which is this one over here, and it's already so low, right? So you try everything you can. And after that, this one is kind of nice as well, because it gives you the red room reflexes, rolling Gungnir as well as weaponry. And so it's more for range build again. Weaponry is a range build, agility is the melee as well as the red room reflexes. Then as far as the slot, okay, let's finish off this one first. So this is yet another one. I need the spycraft power and also rolling Gungnir, micro drones, and so on and so forth, because I need to push all these layers. These are my layers, so these are just as important as anything over here. But unfortunately, it's still below 40, so it's really a shame. Yeah, I mean, it's just a design. I think there's nothing really much I can do. Another one, slot 4, you could either use the Nisanti boots, which kind of like you need to farm from hoods, or you can use this one, the explosive pack. Now I don't do explosive, that's why I sort of like, but these two are very similar. Because if you just lay the statistics side by side with each other, assuming that you have max roll and so on, they are very, very similar. One you gain a bit of brutal, the other one, I mean, even that one got brutal, and brutal and crit, brutal and crit. I mean, if you look at side by side together, you get a little bit spirit on this side as well, but I would say those are very similar. So if you have already got a nice explosive pack, you don't need to go out of the way to get the Nisanti boots. But I like it, especially now because of the spirit issue. More spirit is better. It's just a shame. And also for Nisanti boots, you can use it for both the melee and the range as well, if you want to. And for target not attacking you in group environment, in a stealth environment, it is always the case. So it is good. Another couple of choices as for the melee. So if you want to do melee, you probably would pick this one instead of the Nisanti boots, because it gives you a deadly kick boost for it. But you lose a big chunk of like other stuff like crit and so on, and brutal and so on. So it is again up to you on that. So I may still want to keep my Nisanti boots for all it's worth. But really the few slot 4 items are very kind of similar. Another one is the so-called combat knife. This is also for deadly blade. It helped me to do the do the melee build, because melee build I use the deadly blade instead of the electric batons. So that is something that I need to use. And last but not the least is the Yanana spike, because of the it give me the red room reflexes as well as a buff to melee power as well. I still need to get better gear on this one, but if you range on the pistol, the melee on the bike. So that concludes the session on the gear. So onto the numbers, as always, I take off all the gears and no omega points. So on just looking at it from a game design perspective, it'll tell you a story. I'll show you the story later. I'll compare it with other newer heroes. All right. So because it's an update video, I don't do the basic analysis anymore. I straight look into all the power that requires spirit. So if you look at electric blades as well as the deadly blade with 4 stacks of damage over time, it's actually very similar. The two of them. I mean, you can pick either one of them, but like I say, I prefer to have the damage over time, leave it on there. If you look at the DPS for melee, this one is 31,000, right? If you look at things like, let's look at Gambit, right? The bow beat down is already 33, 34, so, it is sort of like a low, I mean, 33 and 34 versus 31, I mean, you already have like a close to 10% down because of just the hero is a bit dated in a sense. And you look at it and you know that, wow, Gambit, how come Gambit is getting so much more love than Black Widow? Don't know, it is what it is. And after that, you can look into things like the deadly kick as well, which is the one that buffed the entire power tree. So I think they penalize this power a little bit, but usually if you look at numbers on the usually it's a little bit better than this one here, because cooldown power usually hit about 7k, 7.5k. It's now only 5, not even 6k. So yeah, and after that, Crook Grass as well. You can have both are pretty similar. Doesn't matter which. I mean, you have to pick one of these. And after that, Sniper. If you like to have the Sniper that gameplay whereby you snipe it, stealth out, snipe it, stealth out kind of thing, you actually will require, it only give you about 18, 19k. So this is very low compared to, say, the Bullet Barrage. I mean, this is also very low, by the way. If you don't use it for a 4-second cooldown, you're looking at like a 10k kind of DPS as a layer, which is not bad, but then consider the fact that you lose 1.5 seconds of damage. So if you look at Hyper Viper, you are looking at this is the one that Cable have for channeling 2 seconds, while this is the one that Black Widow has for channeling 1.5 seconds. So I don't know, you be the judge. What happened to Black Widow? And after that, you look at the barrage, bullet barrage, which is 24k. Now 24k, just give you another comparison for those who are interested in it. If you look at the Dead Man's Hand, is also about 24k, but then 36k. Sorry. If you look at Dead Man's Hand, it's 36k, and if you look at what about Cable? If you look at Cable's some of these, like let me just the Pulse rifle is 29k, so you look at 24k again. What's up with the 24k? I don't know. It is. So everything here is very low. If you look at Widow's Kiss, Rolling Gungnir, Anti-Personal, Micro Drone. Now these are like 2 to 6k DPS layer compared to, say, let's look at Gambit as well. Like all this, like Grand Slam, 8k above. I mean, I told you it's above 7.5k, right? I mean, this is not. Sort of like a damage over time. Of course, it's usually a bit higher, but this is a cooldown power, right? I mean, all these numbers here, and I mean, you look at all this stuff here. House of Cards, 12k, right? 13k, right? So if you go back to Black Widow, I mean, what is 2 to 6k? I don't know. It's just ugly. So yeah, that's the one. Anyway, it is what it is. And then Time Explosive, you are interested in the. But then if you want to use Time Explosive as like your main spender, you could sort of keep dumping the explosive, exploding them, dumping explosive, exploding them. But that will only give you 17k, even lower than the Sniper. So yeah. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I always enjoy making a video on Black Widow, and it's every time it's so different. And but I think all in all, she's an acquired taste, underpowered, underwhelming, yes. But she's effective. You have seen her in Cosmic Terminal and Cosmic Patrol. Even with my average gear, she's effective. So some play really love her. So let me know how you think about her, and any question you have, drop me a note below. And thank you very much for watching. See you next time. Bye.